Could you speak louder, please? I think he needs a bit more. Was it okay like that? Okay. خير إن شاء الله. طيب. You could put it a bit louder if you want.
That one for on the table, yeah?
خير إن شاء الله.
How's that going to work? Just tell me when you're.
Yeah, hang on a second.
You're running low on battery, and I should be okay to do.
All right, good. إن شاء الله. طيب. Ahmad, start from where we left it, which is خلق أفعال العباد. You know where we are, yes? Yeah. If you make it as loud as you can would be better. Otherwise, I'm going to put the microphone onto this.
It's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. Tonight is the 10th of Jumaadaa Al-Aakhirah, 1446, which coincides with the 10th of December 2024, and we're studying the explanation of the Aqeedah of the Salaf and the people of Hadith by Shaykh al-Islam Uthman al-Sabuni, and this is now the 15th class. We have reached page 69 in the English translation of the book. And the title for that is People's Actions Are Created. Also from the creed of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is that all the actions of the servants have been created by Allah the Most High. They would not debate about this. They would not consider anyone who rejected and opposed this belief to be from the people of guidance or religion of truth.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن Abu Uthman al-Sabuni rahimahullah. Now he's going to come to the issues of the matters related to the qadr. And we will be at the end of this lecture, or just about midway. We're going to be talking about the qada and al-qadr. This is an important matter. We need to understand it properly. So here, he is talking about what the people of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah believe regarding the actions of the person. So he says that Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, regarding what the people do, whether it is good or bad, it is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had attributed to the people, but it is also created by Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah creates the person and his actions. Wallahu khalaqakum wa ma ta'malun. Allah says in Surah Al-Saffat, verse 96, Allah creates you and whatever you do. So Allah creates us and also creates our actions. And the person has the choice. The person has the choice. And he himself also, he has a mashia, a will. And he has a power. So you put the will and the power into the will, and then he will create his action. But him and his action are belonging to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for example, you are reading and you are able to stop from reading. You're able to open the book and stop reading from the book. You are able to lift up the cup and drink water. You're able to put your hands just like me into your ears. So the person, he is not prevented from anyone, from being forced by anyone to put his finger into his ear or to lift his finger from his ear. But all of this will of this person and his power is under the will and the power of the Almighty. And that's the qadr secret. So you cannot do something that Allah doesn't know about or Allah doesn't allow you to do it. So you have a will, but this will, let's say call it will number A, is under the other will, which is the will of Allah, will number B. But the will number B, which is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the ultimate will. So even if you want to will to do something, but Allah Azza wa Jal might strip you from that will, will not be able to do it. So for example, that man who was eating with his left. So the Prophet ﷺ, he told him, eat with your right. So he said, out of arrogance and pride, I don't know, I can't, out of pride and arrogance. So the Prophet ﷺ made a supplication upon him, may Allah make you unable. So now he had the will to lift up his morsel with his left hand, but Allah stripped him from the power, so his left hand was paralyzed. Okay, so Allah creates into you a will and a power. By this power, that you put this power into the will, you intend to do something or stop doing something, then you will put that power into it. But Allah can, strip you from that power, not to be able to fulfill that will. So your will and your power, is under the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the creed of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And there is, regarding this issue, two deviant groups. Those groups are Al-Qadariyah wal-Jabriyah. Al-Qadariyah, the Qadari, which is like the Mu'tazila. The Qadariyah, we call them Nufatul Qadar. They are the one who say there is no decree, no predestiny. It's what you create. And this is what I think the creed of most of the Western people. They say there's no fate. It's what you do. So basically, there's no fate. That means the person, he is the one who sets his own qadr, not Allah Azza wa Jal. Some of them even say that is worse, that Allah has no knowledge of what you're going to be doing. So it's not just Allah being stripped from His might and power over the person, but also it's being stripped from the knowledge. Allah doesn't know. These people are kuffar. So they say no fate, no qadr. And those are the ones called al-Mu'tazila. They wanted to absolve Allah Azza wa Jal from attributing to Him the evil of the people they do. So they say that if we said Allah has created this evil of this person who had done, then we said Allah is evil. That's why they wanted to absolve Allah Azza wa Jal, saying, no, we don't want to attribute this to Allah, we want to attribute to the person himself. But when they do this, they are saying that the person is able to do something regardless of the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. So they wanted to absolve him from one angle, but from the other angle, they're falling into something which is kufr. That you're saying that the person can create something, can will for something, and Allah has no powerful will to stop that will of yours. Okay? To make you to do or not to make you to do. That's where they wanted to absolve and also magnitude, or you could say exalt the command and the prohibition by saying that how can Allah Azza wa Jal command to do evil? Allah does not command to do evil, but they say this, the human being is doing evil, that means we're attributing the evil to Allah. This is called Al-Qadariyah. Qadariyah means they negate the qadar. And funny enough that those people, the Mu'tazila, they used to say to the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, you are the one who is supposed to be called Al-Qadariyah because you are the one who affirms the qadar. Okay? You are the one who affirms the qadar, so you're supposed to be called Al-Qadariyah. We don't affirm the qadar. Why do you call us Qadariyah? We call them the Qadariyah because these people, they strip Allah from the qadar. They are negators of the qadar that is belonging to Allah, where we affirm the qadar to Allah. Okay? So we are the one who affirm that the qadar is in the hands of Allah. Whereas those people, those group, Al-Qadariyah, they strip this from Allah and they give it to the person. The person is the one who decides whatever he comes to him. So this is called Al-Qadar. You see, the trick here, that when we say Allah Azza wa Jal creates the evil, He's not evil in creating the evil. So the evil that He creates is for a hikmah, as we're going to see and discuss, inshallah, more in details. There's every evil that takes place from any person, there is a hikmah behind it. Allah Azza wa Jal does not create, as they say, pure evil. There is evil, has disadvantages, maybe lots of disadvantages from one side, but there is an advantage from another side, as we're going to see. The other group are called Al-Jabriyah, the opposite. Al-Jabriya, the one who say that the person is being compelled to do what he's doing. He's got no power. So if now at the moment I put my finger in my mouth, I had no power. Allah had pushed me to put my hand into the mouth. So that you are majbur. So this is a group, the opposite of the Mu'tazila. The Mu'tazila, they said, person creates, his own actions, and that's what the Prophet ﷺ called them, al-majus, majus wa ummah. Majus means fire worshippers, the Magian people, the fire worshippers. Because the fire worshippers, the Magians, al-majus, they worship two gods, God of the dark and God of the light. You heard about this? I can't remember the gods, they call it Marza or something like this. This is God of the good and the God of the bad. Same thing for those. They say, Allah, does not create your actions, because you can't say, so there's a creator of the evil, which is yourself, and the creator of the good, which is Allah. You can't say Allah creates the evil. So this is the people who are Mu'tazili. The other one, Jabriya, Atba' Jahm ibn Safwan, Jahmiyyah, the one who say that you have no power. These are also shar and evil. Can anybody tell me which is more evil? Al-Qadariyah or Al-Jabriyah? When we think about it, which one is more evil? Both of them are evil. Which one is more evil and why? Put your finger up, come on. Further there.
I said Jabriya.
Al-Jabriyah, why?
Because they're attributing dhulm to Allah.
Correct. Jabriya is worse because they have actually dysfunctioned in joining good and forbidding evil. You can't enjoin good and forbid evil because you are being what? Forced. And any person can do a crime and get away with it. Why are you breaking into my car? I have got no power, brother. I've been pushed to break into your car. So there will be dhulm and there will be a lot of, because it entails a lot of things. So that's why the ulama, the scholar, they said that Jahmiyyah, they're not from the sects, which the Prophet said 73 sects. They're outside those sects, the Jahmiyyah, because of their belief in the qadr. Okay, internet is not correct. I know why. It's connected to my phone. Right. Now, Ahmed, you will find it better. I will not be freezing. Was I freezing, Ahmed?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, no. Sorry about that. It was connected to my mobile. Right. So let's just now give the cream of the crop. We said that the school of thoughts or the madhahib or the ideologies regarding the people's actions are three madhahib. Two madhabs on both sides, extreme and extreme. And one madhab which is Madhab al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, which is in the middle. The one extreme, they stripped Allah from the qadr. And the other extreme, they have so much emphasizing of the qadr to Allah that the person is being compelled to do what he's doing. So this is stripping the qadr, taking the qadr away. And this one, they have extra giving the qadr to Allah. And they strip the human being from his own will and action. Okay? And we are in the middle. Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That Allah Azza wa Jal, He created the people and created their actions. And also He had given them the will and the power. So the will and the power makes their actions is belonging to them. So the person, the one who is praying, the one who's fasting, the one who is good, and the same thing, the one who is wicked and the one who's evildoer. So Allah Azza wa Jalla, He created the person and He created his actions. As Allah He said, Wallahu khalaqakum wama ta'malun. Allah created you and whatever you have as well done. Your actions and yourself has been created. Coming to the following, قال المصنف تفضل.
Guidance of the heart is exclusively for Allah. They also testify that Allah the Most High guides whomsoever He wills to His religion, as He misguides whomsoever He wills. No one who is leading astray has any proof upon him nor any acceptable excuse with him. Allah the Mighty and Majestic has said, translation of the meaning.
But don't you have it in Arabic?
No, I've only got English.
Okay, just next time we just put the verses please. قل فلله الحجة البالغة فلو شاء لهداكم أجمعين. So next time I expect you to read the Arabic inshallah. No.
Say to Allah belongs the binding proof. Had he so willed, he would have guided every last one of them. And he has said,
ولو شئنا لآتينا كل نفس هداها ولكن حق القول مني لأملأن جهنم من الجنة والناس أجمعين. نعم.
had we so wanted, we would have given each soul its guidance. Instead, my verdict is actualized. And he has said,
ولقد ذرأنا لجهنم كثيرا من الجن والإنس.
and we have made for Jahannam, the hellfire, a multitude of jinn and men. Exalted is he created the creation without any need for them. He made them into two camps, one for eternal bliss by his grace, and another for Jahim, the hellfire, by his justice. He made some of them astray and others rightly guided. Some of them are made eternally miserable, others are eternally happy. Some of them are made close to his mercy, and others far from it.
Allah Azza wa Jalla says, لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. Don't you have that verse?
Just the translation, Shah. He is not questioned about what he does, whilst they are to be questioned.
That won't be what I said because you didn't say to me قال Allah. So I'm just waiting for you to say قال Allah.
They didn't put Allah.
So you have to tell me what. Okay. Jazakallah khair. So Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah, they testify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who gives the guidance and the one who strips the person from the guidance. So he's the one who misguides and guides. يضل من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء. Surah Fatir, verse number 8. He guides whosoever he wills and he misguides whosoever he wills. So if Allah guided a person, then he guided him with his blessings, with his ni'mah, with his grace, with his, you could say, the fadl, that means his favor. Allah has given you that favor, but he had guided you. And if he had stripped a person from the guidance and he misguided him, then it is because of his justice. So it's fluctuating between justice and his ni'mah. So if he had guided you, it's from his ni'mah. If he misguided you, it's because of his justice. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, he said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Allah will not change what the people's situation is regarding guidance or no guidance, except if they change what's inside themselves. So Allah Azza wa Jal, if he misguides somebody because he deserved not to be misguided, because he himself in his heart does not want to be misguided. This person, Allah knows from his heart that this person wants to be astray. He doesn't want to be steadfast to the straight path. And if Allah guided someone, no one can say, well, I've been guided because of all my muscles or because of I am the person who can read all the books. It's actually by the fadl of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ni'mah is upon you. So the hidayah, the guidance and the misguidance is in the hands of Allah. It is the ownership of it is in the hands of Allah. He is the one who grants it and He's the one who takes it away. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has got the hikmah to strip this person from the guidance because of His justice. And it is not called dhulm or oppression, because He did not prevent him something that person owns. No, He prevented him something that Allah owns. So Allah Azza wa Jal يختص برحمته من يشاء. Allah gives His rahmah to whoever He wishes because it is rahmah, nobody else's. So the believer, he has to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and expressing his gratitude that He has given him this ni'mah, which is to do with the religious ni'mah. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ فِيكُمْ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Know, O believers, that amongst you is a messenger of Allah. لَوْ يُطِيعُكُمْ فِي كَثِيرٍ مِنَ الْأَمْرِ لَعَنِتُّمْ. If he has to follow you in everything that you want, then he would have been hard upon you. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. But Allah made Iman is to be dear to your hearts, and that's the ni'mah of Allah. وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. and He made it beautiful in your hearts. وَكَرَّهَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْكُفْرَ وَالْفُسُوقَ وَالْعِصْيَانَ. And the other blessing that Allah made for you, disliked, that is, not to like the kufr, the disbelief, and fusuq, the mischief, and the isyan, disobedience. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الرَّاشِدُونَ فَضْلًا مِنَ اللَّهِ وَنِعْمَةً. He says at the end of the verse, Allah, He said, this is فَضْلًا مِنَ اللَّهِ, a favor Allah has given it to us. Ni'mah, blessings from Allah Azza wa Jal. So this ni'mah is being given to the believer, and the kafir are being stripped from that ni'mah by the justice of Allah. And Allah has got the ultimate wisdom. And as Allah already said, فَلَا وَلَا, He says, لَا يُسْأَلُ عَمَّا يَفْعَلُ وَهُمْ يُسْأَلُونَ. Though He will not be asked about what He does. Now He will not be asked about what He does, not in dhulm wise, no, as in justice wise, not in dhulm wise. So it is not correct as those people who say, some of the sects, that Allah has the right to strip the believer from his hasanat and give this hasanat to a disbeliever. No, we don't implement this verse. لا يسأل عما يفعل, because they implement this verse. They say, oh, لا يسأل عما يفعل. You can't ask him. He could take the hasanat from Muhammad and give it to Iblis. A'udhu billah. Because Allah, He made injustice haram upon him. But he had, Allah Azza wa Jal, got the guidance in his hand, the misguidance in his hand. This is ownership. And if he wants to give it to a person, يهدي من يشاء. Strip it from another person, يضل من يشاء. And when he misguides a person, strips him from the guidance, He had stripped him from something that belongs to Allah, and because of wisdom, because of justice, al-adl. And He's given it to a person because of, as well, hikmah, wisdom, and also because it's a ni'mah that Allah Azza wa Jalla had granted, and He is the one who's got the right to grant this ni'mah, this blessing, to whoever He wishes. Then he says, Al-Imam rahimahullah, قَوْلَ يَشْهَدُونَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى, and they testify, the people of Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Allah Azza wa Jal, يَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ إِلَى دِينِهِ. He guides whosoever He wills to His religion, to His straight path. وَيُضِلُّ مَن يَشَاءُ, and He would misguide whosoever He wills. لَا حُجَّةَ لِمَنْ أَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ. There is no proof that can be held against Allah by those who have been misguided, by those whom Allah stricken from the guidance. وَلَا عُذْرَ لَهُ لَدَيْهِ. And he has got no excuse. Like the Jahmiyyah, they say, he's got an excuse because it's been forced. No, you had the will, no excuse. Nobody pushed you. You had the full Mashi'ah. But your Mashi'ah, that's Ahlul Sunnah, says under the Mashi'ah of Allah. So you have a will, and you have a Mashi'ah. Nobody had forced you to break into somebody's house. Nobody had forced you to be kafir. You are the one had chosen. فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. Allah said, He who will, if He wills, let him be a mu'min, and if He wills, let him be a kafir. You have the choice. So Allah Azza wa Jal had given you the hearing, He's given you the seeing, He's given you the intellect, and He had distinguished you from the animals. And that is, the person with his intellect, he will, for example, avoid the things that would harm him. As for the person who has got no intellect because he's young and he died, Allah has given him an excuse. As the person who is majnoon, meaning he had mental disability, Allah gave him the excuse. As the person who is very old and he had, this old person had heard about Islam, when he doesn't understand, he's got an excuse. Okay, so these people will not be burdened with something that they have an excuse. But the one who's got a full intellect and the full power is not forced. You chose the kufr. You are the one to be blamed. You don't put that onto Allah Azza wa Jal. So he says, قال الله, قل, say to them, O Muhammad, فَلِلَّهِ الْحُجَّةُ الْبَالِغَةُ. To Allah belongs the full proof. Hujjah. وَلَوْ شَاءَ لَهَدَاكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. If He willed, Allah Azza wa Jal would have guided all of you. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَآتَيْنَا كُلَّ نَفْسٍ هُدَى. Allah, He says, if we willed, this is the Mashiach, would have made every soul to be guided. وَلَكِنْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ مِنِّي. But I have ordained that I am going to fill up Jannah and Hellfire from the people and the human being and from the jinn. The jinn as well has got the same, as well they've got the choice to choose path of kufr or path of iman. So فَلَوْ شَاءَ لَهَدَاكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. لَوْ شَاءَ النَّاسِ لَهَدَى Allah, if He willed, He would have guided all the people. But the hikmah of Allah Azza wa Jal had ordained that He would guide whosoever He wills, and He would misguide whosoever He wills, and that is a gain with His justice, because it is you yourself. If you willed for the hidayah, Allah will help you to put you on the guidance path. Then He says, وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. We have ordained, Allah said, to hellfire so many of jinn and so many of human beings. ذَرَأْنَا means we have designated so many. كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا أُولَئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ. So they got hearts and they got brains and they got eyes and they got hair, but they don't use them. So they don't hear for the hearing that Allah gave them. They don't see what Allah given them from the seeing. They don't have comprehension with the intellect that Allah has given them. أُولَئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. They are like the animals, but they are even worse. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. So Allah Azza wa Jal had misguided them, because He is the Hakim, the wise. Those are the ones who they themselves as well chose for themselves misguidance. So the Qadariyah, Mu'tazila, they say Allah Azza wa Jal, He does not guide whoever He wills, does not misguide whoever He wills. But the believer, he would guide himself, and the disbeliever misguides himself. Subhanallah. So they have given the guidance and the misguidance in the hands of the person. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, يُضِلُّ مَن يَشَاءُ وَيَهْدِي مَن يَشَاءُ. They said, oh, well, this ayah means Allah guides whosoever wills and misguides whosoever wills. It means that He will call him a guided, or He will call him a misguided. Subhanallah. As for the Jabriyah, they say that Allah Azza wa Jal, He has the right to do whatever He wishes in His dominion, and it is not going to be called dhulm. That means He could put Muhammad sallallahu as I said in hell, and take Iblis and put him in paradise, and they say that God's got the right to do this, and this is not called dhulm, and this is batil. Ahlul Sunnah, they will say, dhulm, what does it mean, oppression? To put something not in the right place. That's the dhulm. To put something not in its right place. So, for example, that you prevent a person from getting the reward of something good that he had done, or to burden him with a sin which he hasn't done. Do you understand that dhulm now? To give a person, to strip a mu'min believer from his reward which he has done and supposed to be rewarded. That's dhulm. Or to strip the person from his reward while he did not do something wrong. That's called dhulm. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said in the Hadith Al-Qudsi, إِنِّي حَرَّمْتُ الظُّلْمَ عَلَى نَفْسِي وَجَعَلْتُهُ مُحَرَّمًا بَيْنَكُمْ فَلَا تَظَالَمُوا. I have made dhulm haram upon you. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said, لَا ظُلْمَ الْيَوْمِ فَلَا يَخَافُ ظُلْمًا وَلَا هَضْمًا. لَا ظُلْمَ الْيَوْمِ. There is no oppression. So dhulm, according to the Jabriyah, the Jahm ibn Safwan and the followers, they say that does not exist. And Allah is not capable. Look, Allah is not capable on it. Dhulm, so they say that He could do whatever He likes. So we say that He does not dhulm because He doesn't want to make dhulm. But they say Allah is not capable of making dhulm. Look at the difference. We say Allah chose not to make dhulm. But they say no, Allah is not capable to make dhulm, because the dhulm is basically that the person does something outside his sovereignty. And because of his sovereignty, he could do whatever he likes. We say, yes, he could do whatever he likes, but he himself chose not to make the dhulm. Okay? And it is not correct to say that Allah is, it is correct, I should say, it's correct for Him to put, as I said, Iblis in the Maqam al-Mahmud and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the bottom of the hellfire. A'udhu billah, that's dhulm. Then the author, he says, تفضل. ألا له الخلق والأمر تبارك الله رب العالمين. Yes?
I have translation, nay to Him belongs, yes. Translation of the meaning, nay to Him belongs the creation and all authority. Blessed is Allah, the Lord of all things. And He has said,
كما بدأكم تعودون فريقا هدى وفريقا حق عليهم الضلالة.
As he initiated you, you shall return, a group he guided and a group whom misguidance has justly overwhelmed them. Verily, they took the devils as allies besides Allah, thinking themselves to be rightly guided. And he has said,
أولئك ينالهم نصيبهم من الكتاب.
such people shall have their share of the book reach them. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, and
I'll just hang on a second. Right. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He had made them two groups. فريقا هدى وفريقا حق عليهم الضلال. One group, Allah gave them the guidance, and one group, Allah ordained for them to be misguided. Yes, Abdullah ibn Abbas.
he said that is their share of the book, is the eternal happiness or misery that was previously written upon them.
Go on.
Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he narrated to us, and he was the honest one, the one most rightfully believed in. Verily, the creation of one of you is gathered within the womb of his mother for a period of 40 days. Then he becomes a blood clot for a like term. Then he becomes a morsel of flesh for a like term. Then Allah sends the angel to him with 4 words of decree: his provisions, his actions, his lifespan, and whether he will be miserable or happy eternally. I swear by the one in whose hand is my soul. Certainly, one of you may do the deeds of the people of paradise until he is within close reach of it. Then what was previously written upon him reaches him, and thus he begins doing the deeds of the people of hell, and then he enters it. As well, one of you may do the deeds of the people of hell until he is within close reach of it. Then what was previously written for him reaches him, and he begins doing the deeds of the people of paradise, and then he enters it.
Right. This hadith is being called the Hadith As-Sadiq Al-Masduq regarding the Qadr. I'll summarize what he said. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, حدثنا الصادق المصدوق, the one who's truthful and also to be believed. And this is the creation of the person in the womb of his mother. إن خلق أحدكم, creation of any one of you. It will be gathered in the womb of his mother for 40 days. And that's a nutfa. Nutfa is a clot. Clot. Nutfa is a clot. No, clot. Then يكون علقة مثل ذلك. He will be علقة, leech or clinging. علقة. من علقة أو علقة. Leech. Like it. Then he will become a mudghah, chewed morsel, like chewed. Mudghah, like it. Then Allah Azza wa Jal will send an angel with 4 words. Now before we go ahead with this, let me explain that the scholars regarding this issue had differed. Is this like it means another 40 days? Or is it the same 40 days? So when we talk about the mudghah, which is the chewed, is it on the 120th day? Because we said 40 day is a clot. The following 40 days, that's 80, that's a alaqa, leech. The third 40 days is 120 days, he will be chewed. Okay? Is that 120 days, which is the 4 months? So it's a 4 months. Is that right? Some of the scholars said no. And I have written to this a lot, and I believe, and as well with the scientific that we find these days, that these things, they take place on the 40 days. So the the clot and the leech and the morsel, they are in the first 40 days. So the mithlu dhalik is not adding 40 days. Wallahu a'lam. Then he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because in the hadith, he says on the 42nd day, Allah Azza wa Jalla, he sent the angel, he will put in the image. And that would synchronize exactly with the scientific foundation, what they found, the discoveries. So we say that this is very important because some of the scholars said, based upon this, that the ruh, soul, will not be blown into him until he's 4 months. So before 4 months, he's not a ruh, and after 4 months, he is a ruh, means a human being, which entails now lots of things like killing, blood money, abortion, lots of things. And wallahu a'lam, even if we had submitted to the other saying, which is 120 days, 4 months, and before the 120 days is not nothing, it's called nafs. Nafs. Forget about ruh, is nafs. So abortion, haram, whether it's 5 days or 5 months, haram. But you could say the hurmah, the prohibition, according to the understanding of these scholars, will be more after the 4 months. So if there is something is going to be affecting the life of the mother with the birth of this child, it's not because he's going to be born disformed, with something, there's no ears. No. That he's causing an actual, not virtual, actual threat on the life of the mother. Then we say to terminate this child before the 4 months is better to terminate after the 4 months. That's the whole thing. Both are haram. But it has to be a definite cause of danger on the mother with at least 2 Muslim doctors to decide that. 2 Muslim doctors to decide this. Like 2 witnesses. Because you're terminating him, but because of you think that he is going to be, like Down syndrome or something wrong with him, is going to be for his life with his son. You don't know. Leave him. He's a human being. And I know a story, and I know it as a person, not a story that I've heard it. I was with Sheikh, this masjid where Sheikh Al-Albani used to go, Masjid Salah ad-Din, and the Khatib, Muhammad Shaqra, Sheikh Muhammad Shaqra, may Allah mercy upon him, he had made a khutbah, and to the khutbah, he said about the story of a person whom he knows. So it is a high isnad. And he was in the masjid. He said to us that there was a woman whom his wife she knows, and she had a pregnancy in her womb, and the doctors, they said you have to get rid of it because it doesn't look like a human being. And at those days, it was not really as advanced as these days. We're talking about 1990s. What they're seeing like an ogre. It's not a human being. Something which they can't figure out. Where is the head? Where is the thing? Just lump of hair. So it's like a beast. Lump of hair. So they asked her if she's willing, because in Jordan they don't really make an abortion unless it is essential. They think it's essential to make an abortion. She refused. Her husband asked her, "Where are you going to be bringing this beast? It's going to be a big issue for us." She said no, because she asked Sheikh Muhammad Shaqr through her, the wife of his. Sheikh Muhammad Shaqr is not allowed unless it's going to cause danger to the mother. And she carried him. When they found out it was about 3-4 months, but she carried him until his 9th month, and she gave birth. When she gave birth to Sheikh Muhammad, she says, the whole hospital, and making sujood to Allah Azza wa Jal, that she was a girl, but her hair is so long that wrapped her. They can't see anything except for her. Beautiful girl, but she's been wrapped with long hair. She can't see the legs, nor you can see the body. Long. Allah honored her with that. And they thought she's going to be in agonization with this child, because you're going to be stuck with the child for the rest of your life. So coming back to the hadith, then he says that Allah Azza wa Jalla will send an angel. So we believe the angel will be sent on the 40th day. Allah Azza wa Jalla will order him with 4 words, and this is called the writing in the womb, because there is more than one writing, as we're going to discuss when we talk about the qadr. So this writing will be when the person is in the womb of his mother. It's going to be written his rizq, provision, his act, what he's going to be do, halal, haram, and his age, lifespan, and whether it's going to be good or bad. It's going to be in paradise or going to be in hellfire. All of that is going to be written already. So you're already in the womb, it's been written for you where you're going to go, paradise or hellfire. By the one in whose hand is the soul of Muhammad. And one of you would be acting like the act of the people of paradise. That means charity, prayer, all of that. Until there is nothing between him and Jannah except a dhira', maybe just a handspan. Then the book, the destiny will get him. The destiny that he's going to be in hell. So he will start doing the act of the people of hellfire. And he will die upon that and he will enter the hellfire. This hadith, ya ikhwani, was narrated in Sahih Bukhari with another addition which is important. إن أحدكم ليعمل بعمل أهل الجنة فيما يبدو للناس. That one of you would be acting upon the acts of the people of paradise as it looks for the people. You look, you see that this person making charity, is praying, but you don't know what's in his heart. His heart, there is kufr, there's no good. So Allah Azza wa Jal, before he dies, he would expose his reality. So he will start doing the acts of hellfire and he will enter it. Same thing with that person, with the other way around, who will be doing the acts of the people of hell. That means he's disobedient. Everything evil he does it. Oh, so many evils. But the hadith of Bukhari said, فِيمَا يَبْدُ لِلنَّاسِ. That's what looks at to the people, is doing bad. But inside him is good. So the destiny proceeds and Allah will make him to do the acts of the people of paradise. You die upon it and he will enter it. So that shows us as well that Allah Azza wa Jal does not judge you by his knowledge. That person who was good but he looks good but is bad, if he died upon the good and he was good, it is dhulm from Allah Azza wa Jal to put him in hell. But he had to do the act of what? People of hell. And that's why he deserved the hellfire. And vice versa. So this hadith, number one, it affirms the qadar. And everything is going to be taking place according to the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is everything, we have to believe al-qadar khayrihi wa sharrihi. Good of it and the bad of it. Also, it's a proof that every person is going to go to what the destiny of his that Allah had ordained. And when the person in his womb with his mother, regardless of the difference among the scholars, whether it's 4 months or the first 40 days, everything will be recorded there, and this will not negate the original writing. And the original writing is in the what? Preserved tablet. As I said, I'm going to discuss it in detail, inshallah, when we come to the qadr. Okay, so each person, when he has this 40 days where his clot, and then within no time he will be leech, like alaqa, leech, or clinging to the womb. Alaqa has got more than one meaning. And then he will become like a chewed, alaqa, but it's chewed. You could see like biting in it, subhanallah. Okay, then the angel will come and blow into it the soul. That's the ruh. That's what makes him alive. And then he will be commanded. This here, it does not talk about the ruh, but there's another hadith, inshallah, which we're going to be discussing in a minute. Also in this hadith, there is a refutation for the qadariyah, the one who say that the person guides himself, for verily guidance and misguidance is already been written, ordained, while the preserved tablet had taken place, and also re-emphasized when the person he is in the womb of his mother. And that's why the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, upon hearing this hadith, they said, Messenger of Allah, are we going to do in something which has already been ordained? I mean, I'm already going to be in paradise, or I'm already going to be in hell. So am I going to be doing an act which has already been set for me, regardless of what I do? It's been said, it's been destined for me. I'm going to be going to paradise or hell. So, I mean, everything's been concluded. Why should I do anything? I'm destined already to paradise or hellfire. What should I do? Because this is the ideology of what? Al-Jabriyah. You can't do nothing about it. So the Prophet said, no. There is you are doing in something is being completed. Because they're asking, are we doing in something that we need to do now, or is it being set before? He said, no, it's been set before. But he said, اعملوا فكل ميسر لعمله وَلِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ. He said, do. And whatever you do is going to synchronize with what is your destiny. Do. So you're going to be doing, and regardless of what you do, it's already been ordained. How? This is the secret of Qadr. The secret of Qadr. Allah knows what you do before you do, and at the same time, He's going to judge you for what you do. Understand? Allah is going to judge you for what you do, but He knows what you're going to do. So when you enter paradise, you'll know why you entered paradise. When you enter the hellfire, you will not be complaining, why did you make me to go to hellfire, oh Lord? Because you've done such and such. This is a proof. So, كُلٌّ مُيَسَّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ. Now, there's a good example is to give, and I'm still giving, for you to understand how is this. Writing is already been there, I'm in hell or paradise, yet I am going to be judged for what I do. So, what has that got to what I do when I'm already been destined? This is, we call it in Arabic, Al-Kitabatu Sabiqatun La Sa'iqah. The writing of Allah Azza wa Jal is being preceded, but is not giving any command on you to do what you don't want to do. Allah, He says, فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ وَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيَكْفُرْ. As I said, you could now, like me, gonna lift the cup and drink tea. Did you force me to do this? I can't say Allah Azza wa Jal pushed my hand, I had nothing, it's like I'm a robot, and I took my cup and I took it back. No, I took it with my own will. Bismillah. And I said Bismillah with the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? So, but I am the one who is supposed to be doing the what? And I'm the person who is in charge of this action. Allah created me and created this cup. Just like I would say, the child. He's a product of whom? Father and mother, correct? Do we say the child is the creation by the father and the mother or not? Yes, father and mother created him. But Allah created the father and the mother and the child. And this child belongs to the father and the mother. No father and mother would say, sorry, child, you've been created by Allah. You're not our child. Get away. Can anybody say that? No. That's your actions. That's your actions, exactly. That's your action. That's your action. You do it. You don't say, like the job, well, I'm not responsible for my actions. Allah is the one who's doing it. No. Allah created you and your actions. But you are responsible for your action. Same thing, you are responsible for your child, the father and the mother, but you are the one who created him. But you are responsible for him. And Allah created all of you. A teacher who is teaching his students for a long time. Let's say from when they were elementary class until they got to the A levels. He's teaching 3 students. And he knows now, after so many years, who is the good, who is the intermediate, middle, and who is the worst. He knows. He set so many exams for them. So many exams. So Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. A equals always A plus. And his marks in the region between 95% and 100. Very few exams, maybe less. But average, like this. Second, B is always 75. C is always 50%. Up and down. So one day, and that's the last exam after so many years. Jazakallah khair. Yeah. After so many years. Yeah, this one doesn't make this noise. Barakallah fiqh. So after so many years, he knows now what is A, B, C. He taught them so many exams, and so he made an expectation paper and he wrote A is going to get between 95 and 96. Mr. B is going to get between 75 and 76. And Mr. C is going to be between 49 and 50%. And he put the expectation sheet underneath his book like this. And he made the exam. And when he had corrected the exam, it's exactly what they expected. A and B and C, spot on. Mr. C, the bad one, he somehow found this expectation sheet. And he looked. Now I know I got 49%. Because you, teacher, expected me 49%. Can he say that? Can he say that? I put my expectation because based upon my knowledge. But that my expectation did not push you to get 49%. You could have done well. But I know you. I've been teaching you for many years. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Allah belongs to Him, the highest example. Allah is not teaching us, Allah created us. And He knows what we're going to be doing. Allah knows each person what is going to be doing. So if it is the case, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He had written what we're going to be doing, and He had said to us, do. But whatever you do is going to be synchronizing with what He had expected. But what He had said. And what He had said, you cannot take it as a hujjah for you. Well, you are the one who sent me to hellfire. Just like the kuffar they did. Kuffar is like the Jahmiyyah. The kuffar they said, وَلَوْ شِئْنَا, and if we had willed, لَمَا كَفَرْنَا. We wouldn't have been disbelieved. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا. If Allah Azza willed, we would have never been disbelievers. So you, Allah, is the one who made us disbelievers, and that's why we have excuse. Why do you send us to hellfire when you are the one who sent us to hellfire? No, Allah gave you the will, but whatever you decide, whatever you will, Allah's will is above you. Whatever you decide, Allah Azza wa Jalla has set this qadar onto you. So he says in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim, the Prophet he said, أما أهل السعادة, as for the people of Sa'adah, the Jannah, then they will be doing acts that will lead them to Jannah. As for the people of hellfire, they will be put into a path that will choose the thing that will lead them to hellfire. فأما من أعطى واتقى وصدق بالحسنى فسنيسره لليسرى. And the opposite. طيب. Following hadith, please.
Aisha radiallahu anha reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, verily a man may behave with the behavior of the people of paradise, while he has been written in the book to be from the people of hell. When his death nears, he changes and takes on the behavior of the people of hell, and then he dies and enters hellfire. As well, a man may behave with the behavior of the people of hell, while he has been written in the book to be from the people of paradise. When his death nears, he takes on the behavior of the people of paradise, and then he dies and enters paradise.
Well, this hadith is narrated by Muslim Imam Ahmad, and this hadith gives us, number one, the affirmation of the qadar, number two, that the hidayah, guidance, and the misguidance is in the hands of Allah, and number three, that the person, he will be going to what is being ordained. So the believer, he will be dying upon Tawheed, and then he will enter paradise. And this believer will die upon Kufr, and he will enter the hellfire. And this hadith also a refutation to the Qadariyah, the Mu'tazila, and the likes. The one who says that the person, he is the one misguides and he guides himself. It's got nothing to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is from, we said, falsehood. طيب. We stop here inshallah, and we start giving my notes here regarding the qadar, and please pay attention, for verily this is an important topic, and part of your iman as to believe in the qada wal qadar. طيب, we'll start with saying that the history regarding this qadar. We know that the qadar is one of the pillars of iman, and the Quran and the Sunnah had showed us the meaning of Al-Qadr. The Prophet ﷺ, he told us that when you do an act and to take the cautions for those acts, this is from the Qadr, and it will not negate it. So that means when you want to take your precautions, when you go to the swimming, for example, you take your life jacket and all of that, does not this negate the Qadr. And he warned us from those people who belie and not affirm the Qadr, or they make the Qadr to contradict the Sharia. And the Prophet ﷺ was so angry when he came onto the companions one day and they were disputing regarding the Qadr. It's like a pomegranate had been cracked into his face. That means his cheek really rose because of his so annoyed. And he said, are you commanded with this? أَبِهَذَا أُمِرْتُمْ أَمْ بِهَذَا أُرْسِلْتُ إِلَيْكُمْ, or with this I have been sent to you. For verily, the ones before you, they were doomed, that when they were disputing regarding this matter, the qadar. So I prompt you strongly that do not dispute regarding the qadar. إِذَا ذُكِرَ الْقَدَرْ فَأَمْسِكُوا. if the qadr is to be mentioned, hold your tongue. Don't indulge into it. I mean, don't indulge into it with the aql. You could indulge into it with what? With shara. Like we're going to be indulging into it in shara. We're going to discuss it in sharia. قال Allah, قال Rasul. But with your aql, no. Aql does not really accept it, because aql is not accepted. It's not going to be, it's above the aql. It's al-qadaru sirru min asrarillah azza wa jal. It's a secret from the secrets of Allah azza wa jal. So the Sahaba had adhered to the command of the Prophet ﷺ, and we don't know any dispute regarding the qadr, except what had been said to us, but took place between Umar al-Khattab and Abu Ubaidah Amir ibn Jarrah radiyallahu anhuma, and that was in the place close to Bilad al-Sham, entering Palestine, and the leader of the army was Abu Ubaidah radiyallahu anhu. And Umar al-Khattab, he is the Khalifa. He had put Khalid down, and he had put Abu Ubaidah instead of him. Abu Ubaidah is well known to be a scholar from the Sahaba. And even Umar used to have some sort of respect to him. And he has as well considered his knowledge is to be important, and his opinion is very carrying a lot of weight. So they have asked for Umar al-Khattab to come because there was a dispute amongst them. Should they go into Palestine or not? Because they've heard there was a plague there. Some of them they said we should go, and some of them should not go. So Umar al-Khattab, he came and he started making shura. And when he asked the Muhajirun, they were differing. When he asked the Ansar, they were differing. Then when he asked the people who are the senior people, like Uthman and Ali and all of them, they said, no, we believe, do not jeopardize the fate of the army and take them into a land that they will be getting the disease. So he said, okay, from the morning I have made up my mind, we're going to be heading back, we're not going to enter. And that's when Abu Ubaidah, he said, أَفِرَارًا مِّن قَدَرِ اللَّهِ يَا أَمِيرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Are you going to be fleeing from the qadr of Allah? And that's when Umar was not happy with his dispute. كَانَ يَكْرَهُ خِلَافَهُ. He was not happy that he said, لَيْتَ غَيْرَكَ قَالَ. I wish that somebody else had said it, Abu Ubaidah. فَإِنَّنَا نَفِرُّ مِن قَدَرِ اللَّهِ إِلَى قَدَرِ اللَّهِ. We flee from the destiny of Allah to the destiny of Allah, both the destiny of Allah. Whether we went in or we went out, it's qadr Allah. أَرَأَيْتَ, if you see that the shepherd who had a herd of sheep, and he had two lands, one has got pasture, green, and another one has got nothing. And if he had herded his sheep in that land, that's with the qadr of Allah. And he had herded his sheep in this land, it's called the qadr of Allah Azza wa Jal. Upon saying this, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, he comes from far, and he says, and he was not there when the dispute took place and the confrontation, the conferring and the consultation. So he said, I've got something from the Prophet. And that would settle the dispute. He said, the Prophet, he said, if you had heard about plague that struck a particular land and you are out, don't go into it. And if you are in the land and the plague took place in that land, do not come out of it, being afraid of it, khawfan min, scared of it. Because it's going to spread the disease. We call it quarantine. And that synchronized with what Umar al-Khattab had chosen. طيب. So we say that what was the history regarding how did it start, this qadr? The first person who had spoken in the qadr is a man from Ahl al-Basra. And he used to be a shopkeeper called Sansaway. Sansaway. Awza'i, he says that the first one who had spoken into the qadr and destiny, there's no fate, a man from Iraq, and he was called Sawsan, and he was a Christian, he embraced Islam, then he went back to Christianity. From him, another person took Ma'bad al-Juhani. This Ma'bad al-Juhani is the person who's a Muslim, took from this Muslim who had been Christian, who was a Christian, became Muslim, they became Christian. So Ma'bad al-Juhani, he taken from him. And from Ma'bad al-Juhani, Ghaylan, he took from Ma'bad. In Sahih Muslim, and Buraidah ibn Yahya, he says that the first person who had spoken in the qadr in Basra, which is in Iraq, Ma'bad al-Juhani. But we know Ma'bad al-Juhani who took it from where? From the Sawsan. This one who was a Christian who embraced Islam and being back to Christianity. And he had, Buraidah mentioned in Hadith that Ma'bad and the ones who are with them, they say there is no qadar, no fate, no destiny. And wal amru unuf, and that you just start now. There's nothing been set before. Whatever you do is just got no, being documented before. Nothing there, no qadar. And the Sahaba, may Allah be pleased with them, who were alive to witness such a bid'ah in the qadar, like Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdullah ibn Abbas, Wathilah ibn al-Asqa', Jabir ibn Abdullah, Abu Hurairah, Anas ibn Malik, they were war against such a ideology. They were waging war against such ideology. Abdullah ibn Umar, when he was told about this, he said, tell them I've got nothing to do with them. I've got nothing to do with them. Who they say that the Amr Unuf, that means that we just started, no fate. I've got nothing to do with these people. From Ma'bad al-Juhani, who took it from Sawsan, the people who are the head of I'tizal, the Mu'tazila, like Wasil ibn Ata, وعمر بن عبيد وغيلان الدمشقي, they have taken from him. So Ghaylan, along Wasil, along Amr ibn Ubayd, these are well-known names for those people who are knowing the Mu'tazila, that they have taken from Ma'bad al-Juhani. Now, Wasil ibn Ata, who is the head of Mu'tazila, he had claimed that the shar, the evil, cannot be from the creation of Allah. We cannot add it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as khalqan wa ijada, not hikmatan wa sifa. No. As we say that Allah creates the evil, but He's not evil in creating the evil. But they say no, Allah does not create the evil. That's the saying of theirs. Allah does not create the evil. And also in his saying, he said that the person, he is the doer, he is the creator of good and evil, and belief and disbelief, obedience and disobedience. And he's the one who's going to be recompensed for his action. And Allah Azza wa Jal had made him to be capable on doing all of that. That means Allah's capability, give it to him, and he's got no capability over his capability. Subhanallah. And as for An-Nizam from the Mu'tazila, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be described, that He is capable on creating evil. Allah is unable. They stripped Him from creating any evil, creating disobedience. And we know that Allah created you and your action, whether it's good or evil. And this firqa, our scholars, they called it Al-Qadariyah. They were called Al-Qadariyah because they have attributed Al-Qadar to the person, not to Allah Azza wa Jal. And it is independent from the Almighty Azza wa Jal. And there is that the things which it cannot be with the qada of Allah Azza wa Jal and Qadarih. And these people, with their misguidance, they say that this name should be attributed to you, Ahlus Sunnah. Well, you are the Qadariyah, because you are the one you're saying that things goes with the Qadar and there's a fate. So you are the one who deserve to be called Qadariyah. Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah in his Sharh Sahih Imam Muslim, he says that some of the Qadariyah, they said, we are not Qadariyah, you are the Qadariyah, Ahlul Sunnah, because you are believing that there is a Qadar. Ibn Qutaybah and also Imam al-Juwayni, he said this is deception from those ignorant people, and this is rudeness and talking low. So Ahlul Haqq, they are attributing their affairs to the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they're giving the qadar to Allah Azza wa Jal, and the actions that's been created to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those ignorant, they are giving the qadar to themselves and the creation of the actions to themselves. So if you are claiming the qadar is to yourself, then you have all right to be called al-qadari. Do you understand? Because you are the one who claims the qadar to yourself. So it's more appropriately that for you to be called the qadari, because you are calling yourself, the qadar is in your hands. And the Prophet ﷺ had called the Qadariyah as to be the Magians of this ummah, Majus. This hadith is in Sunan Abi Dawood, and they were called Majus because they are similar to the Majus, the fire worshippers, in their saying that there are two gods, God of the light and God of the darkness. And they claim that the khair is from the God of the light, and the shar is from the God of the darkness. And we call it Thanawiyah, they are double gods. Same thing with the Qadariyah. They give the good to Allah, and the shar is from the from the creation of the human being. And Allah is the creator of both good and evil. There is nothing going to take place except if Allah had willed, al-Mashi'ah. So they are attributed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who has created good and bad, evil and good. Now in the last era of Banu Umayyah, the last era of Banu Umayyah started Mu'awiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiallahu anhu. The last era of the Umayyah Caliphates, there's some people that they claimed that the person is compelled to do his actions, which is the opposite of the Qadariyah, majboor. So he has got no choice for whatever he takes or whatever he leaves. And even some of them, they just, give to the human being a small capability, a small will, which has no effect in the actions. The first person who had said this saying is Al-Jahm ibn Safwan. And from this bid'ah, we have lots of misguidance. And this saying had been spread, and some of the Sufis had adopted it. Some of the Sufis had adopted it, subhanallah, and they are worse, as we have said, than the first group, the Qadariyah, because those people, they are saying that there is no good enjoining good or forbidding evil, and they are attributing dhulm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we come into the qada wal qadar. So looking at the time, we have a lot to explain. A lot to explain here, and I need to make sure that you understand this very well. You need to take notes as well, because the qada wal qadar is a slippery topic. Yes, you could walk in on an edge. You could fall this way, you could fall that way. I'm asking that boy who's speaking, please speak quietly. Hello? SubhanAllah. Tafadal. So I'll leave inshallah the time for the questions. Okay, Ayub, inshallah we'll leave it for the next time, because I've got lots of notes for this, Al-Qada wal-Qadar. If you have any questions regarding what we heard, please go ahead. Jazakumullah khair. Huh?
You can make that a lecture just with itself.
Yeah. Qadar is a lecture by itself. So next time is going to be the Qadar, Al-Qada wal-Qadar. And then talk about it in details, inshallah. Talk about the writings, because the Qadar is 4 stages, and each stage needs a lecture. But I'm lumped in one lecture, inshallah, 4 stages. Now. Fadal.
Sheikh, what can change the qadar, Sheikh? Some people say evil eye or magic might change the qadar.
Okay. Can anything change the qadar? We have to understand what is the qadar. How can you change it, first of all? Qada wal qadar, as we can explain inshallah next week. First of all, that everything is being set. So whatever is in the preserved tablet can never change. Okay? When there's somebody's talking, and this is not right. That person is not right. Well, the adult is with him, leaving to talk like this loud. What is he teaching him? SubhanAllah. Right. So this qadar will not change. So the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يرد القضاء إلا الدعاء. Nothing will push away the qada, the destiny, except for the supplication. So is that right? I mean, if you make supplication, Allah will take the qada that He had ordained? No. The qada is being set. Ikhwani, I can't teach. I have to stop. This is not right. I can't teach like that. She needs help or something, and somebody has to stop me, please. Now my ears are speaking. Okay. Fine. So the qada is being set 50,000 years before Allah created heavens and earth. Allah had the knowledge, then that knowledge transformed into writing, but the writing does not take the whole knowledge of Allah, all of it. It's up to the day of resurrection. After the day of resurrection, there is nothing being written there. Qada, from the beginning to the end I mean the day of resurrection. After that, the knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jal. So the knowledge is more than the writing. So Allah has the knowledge, then the writing takes place. This question is going to make me to go into the talk, so I'm going to just give you a brief. So this not going to change. And when you do like a dua, or like say joining your kinship, as the Prophet said, it will increase your age. This is already written in there that you will increase your age, which is your age is being set. It's not going to be changed. But some of the scholars, they said, the writings are of two types, writing in the above and writing in the books of the angels. So the angel, he might have yamhu, mahu, which is what? Erasing. But Ummul Kitab, no, the mother of the book, there is no erasing. So this angel of death, he's got your death at such and such time, for example. And then you do some good deeds, which Allah He said that it will increase your age. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now, He will make this angel scroll to have erasing and rewriting, but not in the preserved tablet. Preserved tablet is still there. That's one of the sayings. Not the saying Shaykh Al-Albani says we don't need to have all of this in, You could just say that this person, it will be written that his age has increased because of he had joined his kinship. We don't need to have, raising all of that and all of this philosophy. But anyway, this is two sayings here. So the qadr does not change, is there. Okay? But Allah Azza wa Jal had given universal laws. These universal laws, they are there. That means if you throw yourself from the cliff, you're going to die. And if you eat healthy food, you might live longer. But there is, you could, eat as much as healthy food, but you'll die young. Allah had ordained for you. Remember that this person was a kafir. He had challenged death. And he had made a book about this. That you could really challenge death. You don't have to die and be submitted to the death. No. And Allah made him to die 54 years old. A disbeliever from the West. Because he said he's got the secret ingredient, the secret mixer for him. Or Alexa, they call it. That he's going to be, if he drinks it, he's going to have immortality. He didn't have immortality. Allah made him to die young. Nothing will change the qadr, and we're going to have more explanation. Because if I go to, there's some things in my mind, it's going to be taking another lecture for that. Further.
Or just go on with the same question you said. When the Prophet said like on Laylatul Qadr, some people are going to be safe from the hellfire. So what does that have in connection with Qadr?
It's again, Ikhwani, it's the same thing. All of that is the same linked. So it's all of it the same thing, but a different angle. Yeah, so I would say the qadr question, Ikhwani, I would leave into the next week, because as I said, the qadr is being set, and is being set in the qadr that Allah Azza wa Jal made these people to do something in Ramadan that Allah had ordained for them to be saved from the hellfire. It's not Allah Azza wa Jal, He didn't know what you're doing and suddenly you have surprised Allah and you made qiyam during the night. It doesn't work like this. Allah knows. But because of you have done this night qiyam, that's why you deserve such and such. You deserve to be set from the hellfire. But it's not you surprised Allah. Allah didn't know, didn't know that you're going to be doing qiyam. Allah knows. Okay? So you take with the, so just as I said, it's exactly the same when I say to you, Allah Jalla said to you that if you take healthy food, you live longer. But you might not live longer, isn't it? If you take poison, you're going to die. But you may not die, subhanAllah. Nah. Fadal.
On abortion.
Abortion.
Pregnancies from abuse, for example, is it permissible to abort those? Or
A pregnancy of?
from a result of abuse?
You're saying a pregnancy of a legitimate child.
No, illegitimate.
Illegitimate child, I said. Illegitimate child.
Yes.
So it's a fornication. Adultery.
from rape or they fall above?
There's difference here from rape.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the rape. First of all, illegitimate child, whether he comes from illegitimate or illicit relationship, or it comes from forced relationship, which is you call it the rape. That child, it is from the creation of Allah. It is not your own as well. It's Allah Azza wa Jal. I am not allowed to make an abortion for such a reason of shame or all of that. Because this is a child. And he will be attributed to the mother, not to the father. Because the father, unless the father repents to Allah and he marries that woman and there is nobody else except for the two. Like these days we have brothers who were having boyfriends and girlfriends and then suddenly he repents to Allah and they had a legitimate relationship and then became marriage. So that child who's out from the wedlock, from the no marriage, will be attributed to the father and the mother in that case. So it will be attributed to the mother, and we're not allowed to take that child away. And the Prophet ﷺ had this at this time, where a woman, she had pregnancy, and this man, he had been caught as to be fornication, and when the person had confessed that he had been taken his punishment, which is stoning to death. And as for the woman, she did not confess. And Ali ibn Abi Talib said, if she confesses, make the same punishment on her. But when the child came out, it came out exactly as the fornicator. The Prophet ﷺ did not command for that child to be killed, nor for that woman to be killed, because she did not confess. But that child, okay, it looks like even if we had now the DNA which makes it exactly to that person, we cannot put the punishment on that woman. It has to be either by the confession or 4 witnesses to testify they have seen that relationship, which is the thing in the thing, not just hugging, the thing in the thing, which is very hard. Very hard. Now, Fadal.
The one that claim Allah doesn't know an action until it happens, what kind of kufr does the person fall for?
A person who says, or a sect, these are the old Mu'tazila by the way, they say Allah doesn't know. These are great kuffar, not just small kuffar, great kuffar. Because the ones who are the other side of the Mu'tazila, they say no, Allah has got the knowledge, but Allah has got nothing to do with the actions. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows what you're going to do, but He did not create it. The other ones, He says, no, Allah has got no knowledge, these are worse of kuffar. We're going to take about the stages of qadar. Each stage, who disbelieves in it, what does it mean? If he disbelieves in the writing, and he does not believe in he believes in the knowledge, but he does not believe in the writing. He believes in knowledge and the writing, but he does not believe in the third matter, which is we call it al-Mashi'ah. If he doesn't believe in Mashi'ah, but he believes in the creation, what is his role? Kafir or Muslim? We're going to discuss that inside, inshallah. There are 4 stages. Right. Any other questions? Fadl.
Can you combine the dhikr of the salah and the adhkar? So we just say it once and it...
Dhikr of the-salah and the adhkar? I don't understand that. The dhikr of salah is different from the adhkar al-sabah wal-masa. Okay. But there are dhikr, for example, dhikr al-salah, this contains as well قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٍ and also ayat al-kursi, dhikr al-salah. And the adhkar, they contain this as well. So when I adhkar al-sabah al-masa, do I need to do this? Well, be more rewarded to do it. You'll be more rewarded to do it. But if you want to take out not the quls, I'm going to just say astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. I'm going to teach you something when you used to say for the salah, always stick to it, and it's going to be easy for you. First of all, once you finish from the prayer, any prayer, astaghfirullah, 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 3 times. Allahumma anta as-salam, wa minka as-salam, tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. That's number 1. If it's Maghrib or Isha, don't forget to say after that, La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd, yuhyi wa yumit wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. 10 times. Maghrib and Fajr. What did I say? Oh, I must be tired. Maghrib and Isha. Before you utter a word, before you speak to anybody, before you change your position, in that position. Maghrib and Fajr, you say La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah to the end 10 times. Yuhyi wa yumit. Remember that word, yuhyi wa yumit. Wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Then, if it is not the Maghrib or the Isha, then you could go to this. If it's Maghrib and Fajr, then after that dua you say the following, which is Astaghfirullah. After that you say La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah lahul mulk wa lahul hamd, not yuhyi wa yumit, this one, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, 3 times. Then you say Allahumma la mani'a lima a'tayt wa la mu'tiya lima mana'at wa la yanfa'u dhal jaddi minkal jadd. Then you say again, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd, not yuhyi wa yumit here, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Then you say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, La ilaha illallah, wa la na'budu illa iyyah, lahu al-ni'matu wa lahu al-fadl wa lahu al-thana'u al-hasan, La ilaha illallah mukhlisina lahu ad-din wa law kariha al-kafirun. Then you say, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, 100 times, by saying it like this. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, 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 Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. That's 20. So that's 1, 20, another 20, another 20, another 20, another 20. So it's 5 fingers. You count here, you do tasbih here, you count here. Okay, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. That's 4. 4 multiplied by 5, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 by 20 is 100. Allahumma a'inni, after that, Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. Also it is good in the day and in the night, morning and the evening. Even if you had said al-dhuhr, if you don't forget, no problem. 7 times. Allahumma inni as'aluka al-jannah, Allahumma inni as'aluka al-jannah, Allahumma inni as'aluka al-jannah. And also seek refuge in hellfire. Allahumma inni a'udhuka min al-nar, Allahumma inni a'udhuka min al-nar. Oh, Allahumma inni astajiru bika min al-nar. Both is correct. 7 times. Okay, now you have done what is so important in the adhkar. What is that? Very important. Okay, is another addition that if it is not morning and evening, then you could do Qul huwa Allah. Because the adhkar, as I said, contains the Ayat al-Kursi, contains the Quls. The other one does not contain. So if you haven't got Maghrib and Fajr, then do the Quls as well. If you are not having time, you just say Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. Allahumma anta as-salam wa minka as-salam tabarakta ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Do not leave this one. Always this one. This is the minimum that you could say. You don't have time. Khalas, go. Wallahu a'lam. وسبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. I'm sorry about the people. We'll come inshallah next week. We'll ask the questions.